some point, I bet you and I had the same thought. There's got to be a better business model for realtors out there. You just don't know what it is yet. And I get it. You don't always trust a lender's take on your business. So I went straight to the source to find out. At the last Core Summit, I confirmed there is a better model. And what I found was fantastic. I tracked down the top producing realtors who've already changed the way they run their teams to unlock a level of profit most agents never dream about. They also improved their service and drove better team loyalty. And I captured it all in real time. Just me, a mic, hundreds of top producers, and a few stolen moments between sessions. So look, the footage isn't perfect, but it's real. I've collected their systems, scripts, compensation plans. So when and if you ever get ready, you won't be guessing. You'll be plugging into a proven model. Let's jump in. To kick things off, here's Rick Ruby, founder and head coach of the Core Training, the company that's helped create more millionaire realtors and lenders than any other coaching organization in America, explaining the model his top performers use and why he's made showing agents mandatory in his program.
Let me tell you my thoughts about this topic, and I spend years on it, and mandatory in my coaching program is showing agents. You pay 50 grand a year. They work every other weekend. They get 2 weekdays off. They work a 40-hour work week scheduled. They only show your clients, and here's how it works. Andy is the realtor. Mr. and Mrs. Ruby, I want to take great care of you. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to work with Jolene. She's going to show you properties. When you find the right property, I will come out and look at the second showing, and I will negotiate it because you're my client. That's how a showing agent works, how a buyer agent works. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Ruby, good luck. You're going to deal with Cindy. If she does a shitty job, who cares? You're no longer my client. I'm never going to talk to you again, but I'm going to get half the money because I generated your lead. That's the difference between a buying agent and a showing agent. One, you're keeping the client for life and you're giving them a world-class experience. And the other, you're just dumping the client off on somebody because you just want to get a plaque of how big you are. I can't stand agents that have agents. I only love agents that have assistants and showing agents. Well, my longest team member I have 3 team members that have worked for me for 30 years. One's been at 31 years. I look at their budgets every single month. I do their goal setting every month. I know all about their families. I know all about their goals in their life. I serve my clients and I serve my employees. Well, here's what I look for. I look for people that are very pleasant. Like Andy is very pleasant. You're all lucky to deal with him. It's one of my favorite things about him. He's very pleasant. I'm looking for pleasant people that care about other human beings. I'm looking for ambitious people that want to do better in life. And I'm looking for people that are super organized.
Rick broke down the client experience side, keeping the relationship, keeping control, keeping the lifetime value. Now, let's look at the numbers and the profitability. Here's how Kay Watanabe, a $50 million producer out of Southern Arizona, structures it and the results it's driving.
Property partners in Tucson, Arizona, Core Level 3 coach here. We're going to talk about the difference between a buyer's agent and a salaried showing agent. I do have both on my team, and the reason why I still have both is because if somebody was an agent and they still love being on my team and they're still on a split and they still adhere to our culture, I'm going to keep them and I'll keep them forever, okay? The key is it's not that profitable. Okay, I keep these people on because they bring some value to my agents, other agents, they bring some value to me in life, and I just love being around them. I'll give you an example. So at one point, before I became big with the warm lead generation, I was a Zillow guy. So I'd spend $10,000 a month on Zillow. Okay, that $10,000 would generate $25,000 in GCI, and they're all you guys all thinking right now, hey, this is actually pretty good. You 2.5x your money, but not that. Remember, 50-50 split. Of that 12.5, of the 25, I got 12.5 that came to me. Oh, well, how much was I spending? I was spending 10 to get that 12.5. So now I got 2,500. Oh, not just that. I have transaction coordinators, I have ops managers, I have rent, I have water, I have electric, I have all these type of things, even internet. So that was a losing deal for me, okay? Not to say that these agents have to go, because now I also make them, to keep their weight on the team, you have to self-generate. I want you to, anybody you work with, start working them for referrals. Anybody that you had in the past, I want you to work on them referrals, because they're technically still my leads. Oh, and by the way, you will be doing open houses too. The difference, the other side, it's called the salary showing agent, right? It is more profitable by about 35%. I'll send you the math so that you can see a 2 side-by-side comparison. What I like about it is I still control the deal. I still am part of the negotiation, not the showing of the house. When you think about the busiest activity that you have, it's actually showing the home. So I have someone show the home, they find the best one. I still handle the consultation in the beginning. I have a smooth handoff to the showing agent so that they know that they're not just getting passed off, the client I mean. Once they find their top one or two, I go out for the final showing, negotiate the deal, take it to the finish line. That is the difference. I do prefer the salaried model because it's more profitable. I still have more control over the deal. And these people know, these clients know that I'm the realtor and they're realtor for life. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Follow-up question for your buyer's agents. Do you cover marketing costs or anything for them, or do they just get their split and they're on their own?
Nope, they don't even have to really truly self-generate leads other than people that they've already worked with. Open houses, sign calls, doing stuff like that. All of my warm referrals, though, go to my salaried agent. I don't give easy layups to the 50-50 buyer agent anymore.
Perfect.
Oh, and I don't even do 50-50, 60-40. 40 goes to them, 60 comes to the house because it's a lead I paid for.
So we've covered the why and the how, but there's one piece most agents miss: the true cost of labor. Derek Polder, not just a lender, he's a core coach, a top 100 loan officer, and he sees hundreds of real estate businesses up close, including those using buyer's agents and those using showing assistants. He knows the real numbers. Most realtors think buyer's agents are cheaper because there's no upfront paycheck, but Derek breaks down why it may actually be one of the most expensive choices you make.
Such a mistake. So when you look at the reason, here's just two facts, right? If you and I do a transaction together, you're the agent, I'm the lender, and you sell $1 million house, you get paid off the $1 million. If that client puts down half, I get paid off of 500. So I get paid off of a smaller starting point, and your margin's generally 2.5% to 3%. On the lending side, our margin's generally 1%. So you get paid off of a higher gross amount, and you make also a higher margin on that. Why do many realtors struggle then with putting the money in the bank? And the reason why is because one of the biggest expenses in business will be your labor. And realtors make the mistake of it's the illusion that it's cheap because they don't have to commit to paying $20 an hour or $30 an hour. So instead what they do is they give up half of the next paycheck, which is so much more expensive. It just doesn't feel like that because out the gate, they didn't have to pay anything. And not only is that extremely expensive labor, but it's also very expensive in terms of culture. You can't, when they're a contractor, you can't force them to be at the office by 9 a.m. or 8:30. And you can suggest they show up to the meeting, you can suggest that they're there, but you're not their boss, they're a contractor. So what I find is by doing the true showing assistant, they are W-2'd, you're the boss, you set the standards. The pay is scary at first because you're investing money whether you close a transaction or not, but welcome to the real world of business. That's how every other business works. They have to sell products, restaurants have to sell food, and they don't know how many customers they're gonna get tomorrow, but they're still hiring staff based on projections, and in the end, they sell enough plates to cover labor. Realtors need to know that they're selling enough houses to cover the cost of the labor, and it works so much better. And the realtors that I see here that finally surrender to that process have way more efficient teams because they're in charge, and they're making way more money because they're not giving up, like you said, 50% of the check.
You see how the pieces fit together? Now let's bring this home with two final top producers. Patrick Conway, San Antonio legend, breaks down the real profitability difference and exactly how to hire the right person. Then John Bai, he's a top producer in Washington, is going to bring it full circle, clarifying the true difference between a showing assistant and a buyer's agent and what it really takes to build team loyalty. Take a look.
Got to hire the right person. So on a DISC personality profile, the DISC, I'm not looking for the DIs, I'm looking for the IS, which is a little bit more unique, but I'm looking for that S because they want stability, they want a guaranteed paycheck, they want culture, they want job security. So we're going to provide that. Earlier in my career, I was egotistical trying to grow something huge. I grew a bunch of 50-50 buyer's agents and it just was not as profitable. Now we did a ton of business, but everything was leveraged. And leveraged always sounds sexier and bigger is not always better. So we were about 16% on a P&L in terms of profit. Now I have showing assistants. I'm super dialed in with all the clients. The price point's higher and our profit on a P&L is about 65% right now. So it's a no-brainer.
You can control the experience with a showing agent. You cannot control the experience with a split 1099 agent. The biggest part is to get you out of the drive time because the drive time is where everything gets sucked up and then you can't accomplish the things that you need to do. It's like you have to care about them. You have to care about their success. When you make promises, you have to deliver on them. Use promises in your vocabulary as much as possible and deliver on them and they will stick around.
You just heard this model from agents actually doing it. Real production, real teams, real systems. And nearly all of them once believed the buyer agent model was the only way. After making a switch, their profitability and their freedom took off. Huge thanks to Rick, Kay, Patrick, John, and Derek for sharing their playbooks. The showing assistant model isn't just another option. I believe it's the future of full service real estate teams. If you want to explore how this could work in your business, and if it could, let's grab a coffee. I'll share everything with you just so when you're ready, you can do it right. I appreciate you as always. Let's keep building smarter businesses together.